Hello and welcome to today's episode of Sadlier School Live. My name is Camberly Woods and I am pleased to be bringing back Dr. Matthew Bayranovan. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Cam. How are you doing today?
I am doing good and thank you again for being on here. Your energy is always contagious and I love hearing all of the fun games and growth mindset tips you've shared over the last few weeks here on Sadlier School Live. I want to remind, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, I was just going to say thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun as we've been talking about the last few weeks about how we can make math joyful and interesting and doing the games and the energy. And then we're taking a little bit of twist this week, which I'll introduce after you do the reminder.
Yes. So as you had mentioned, we've done a ton of videos over the last couple of weeks and we have all of them here on this Facebook page. So if you're interested, go back and watch them. We've shared a lot of great tips for parents, caregivers, and educators right now as everybody's at home, social distancing, and we think you guys would find them useful. If you are joining us live here today, we love to connect with people. So say hello on the comments here. We'd love to chat back with you. And Matthew, let's start talking about today's topic.
Excellent. So this week, I kind of stepping up the level of rigor of these talks in that we're going through a few controversial subjects. Yesterday, we had a conversation about the idea about gifted students and the impact it has on both the students who are deemed gifted and those that are not, and how it really does not help anybody. And today, we're going to be talking about a somewhat controversial topic, at least within the field of education and in particular math education, and that is the idea of being able to redo an assessment. And I believe that there is a lot of evidence that's going to support my position, but yet there are a lot of good counter arguments. So I asked you, Cam, ahead of time to play the role of devil's advocate here. For anybody who's watching it live or on replay who's trying to pull their hair out, you can ask the questions for them about what I'm going to be sharing with you here today. But my basic belief is that math teachers are very slow to the party, and I mean by that being allowed to retake assessments. And also very surprising to me is that many parents are also not in favor of this particular idea. And so what I want to begin by doing is framing this for you folks. And that is that in a perfect world, ideally, we want to have our children, our students, learn whatever information it is the first time we present it and the first time they take the assessment. But that's not always realistic. And mathematics, more than any other subject, builds upon itself with the concepts. In order for you to be able to add fractions, you must be able to determine the least common multiple between two particular numbers, in this case, denominators. If you don't have that ability, then you cannot be successful going forward. So although we would like this to occur the first time, it is very important that these students learn it at some point, maybe right away, maybe down the road. So for us to be able to say, no, you do not have that opportunity to learn it a second time, to me really is going against everything that I believe in particular with the growth mindset, where we say to the kids, I believe in you. With hard work and perseverance, you will be successful. But yet, if you want another opportunity to get a higher grade, nope, I'm sorry, we're not going to allow that. That to me is very counterintuitive to all the things that I, as long as many other math teachers, very much believe in. And there are 3 links that Cam is going to be dropping into the chat. One of them has to do with the specifics of an article that I wrote about a plan for how this can work, which I'm going to be summarizing in a moment. The second is a blog post by Chris Brunel, who wrote an amazing article about the idea of assessments and grading. And the third is by the phenomenal James Tanton, as he really analyzed why we do assessments and what the purpose of it would be. But let me just start with the basics. If we're going to implement the retaking of assessments, We need to make sure that we have a policy in place so that the students who are taking it don't just blow off the first one saying, well, I can always just keep taking it unlimited times to get whatever grade I want to get. No, we still want to have some rigor and some expectations. So the first thing, filling out a reflection ticket. Why did you not do well on this test? Did you not study? Did you not understand the material? Did you get in a fight with your mother? Something wrong with your boyfriend or girlfriend? Maybe you're not feeling well. Let's start with why we had the issue. Step 2, extra help. The extra help could be something that's before school, after school, recess, lunch, study period, or even virtually as we're learning now. And the third part, and this is the $1 million idea, you must complete all of your missing assignments. How can I expect you to understand the material when you haven't even done 3 of your homework assignments? I can't. Regardless if you give credit or don't give credit, the students need to do those missing assignments. And the key part to this here is it's open to everybody, not just those students who get below a 70 or a 60. If you got an 84 and you want to do better, I want to encourage it, not hinder your progress. And also, there's no averaging of the 2 grades. Well, I got a 90 the first time, or I'm sorry, a 70 the first time and a 90 the second time, so therefore my grade is an 80. No, there's no 80. That doesn't exist. Wherever your learning is at the end of the term, that is the grade you will receive. And if it happens to be lower and you got an 82 the first time and the second time 75, well, you now have a 75 because that's what your current learning is. So I'm going to pause for a second here and say, Cam, what might be some questions or thoughts that would be against this idea that I'm sharing with you?
Okay, well, one might be, the student has already been given a deadline on knowing the material. So they should have taken the initiative, learned the material by that deadline, and they didn't.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. And that's why if you want to retake it, you're going to have to do a little bit of work in order to be able to. It's not as just, well, I didn't like my grade, so next week I'm just going to show up and get another opportunity for it. No, you do the reflection ticket. You have to figure out what exactly happened. We have to make sure you missed the missing assignments. And then you got to spend 15 or 20 minutes with me for good or for bad, because I want to make sure that you understand it. So it is kind of a safety blanket, but I'm a little bit concerned that we are always so preparing students for the next level that we're not focusing on the moment and the actual learning. When I hear teachers in middle school talk about they're getting them ready for high school, and then I hear high school teachers saying we have to get them ready for college, and then when you're in college, we have to get them ready to find a job, and then you have your job and you have to get yourself ready to die because that's the next phase. Like, why do we have to go through all these phases so fast? Slow down, enjoy the moment, and all subjects, but in particular math, we need our students to be able to understand, recall, and apply it. And if they don't, then when they move from Algebra 1 to Algebra 2, or from grade 3 to grade 4, they are not going to be successful. So hindering that opportunity is not benefiting the students, and it is very much a fixed mindset.
Well, I love also your whole little process here that you have mapped out, because it again helps at the end deepen the students' understanding of the concept being taught. So yes, they didn't nail that understanding of the concept the first time, but because of this process you've put into place in your classroom, they get to go back through and re-look at the concepts and learn them. So I think this is awesome. And it really does a good job at fostering that growth mindset at the same time.
And one of the things that I hear when I share this idea with other educators and or parents is that some certain parts of this do not work for them or their school culture or their school rules. And I say, that's okay. You take this philosophy and adjust it for what works best for you. That's what good teaching is. What I just firmly believe in is that there should be some retake policy in place. It should not be you have one chance and that's it, game over. Because if you think about preparing them for the real world, How many situations are there in the real world where you only have one opportunity for something, and if you don't know it or don't do well on it, you lose and it's over? I don't think that happens very much in the real world. In many places, in fact, most places, you are given multiple opportunities if you are not successful the first time. So why should we be having these strict rules on a 12-year-old that we as adults don't even have on ourselves? So within this framework, find out a way that makes it best for you. And for parents who feel sometimes, I don't want my child to have that retake because of the rigor and what I expect them to be able to do, realize that it's actually helping them. If they want to go through this process, relearn the material better than they did originally, and go for another chance at the assessment, we should be applauding them for that, not impacting their ability to do it.
Yep, you're right, because like you mentioned earlier, it sets that foundation for them to move on to the next concept, and you have to learn one thing before the other. So I love it. I just want to remind everyone that the links that you shared here on the live today, I've dropped into the chat on Facebook. So if you're interested in checking those out, click on the video and you can access the comments there. Matthew, do you have any other parting words for us?
Nope, I just want to share something quickly. Next week, when we're getting back together, we're going to get a little bit back to lightheartedness. I have some great games that I'm going to be sharing with you that have some amazing math, and also some ideas of things that you could possibly be doing with your children now and in the summertime to be able to prevent that summer slide if it hasn't already started with the remote learning.
I love it, and I love hearing your games because I always like to take them back and use them with my own children here at home. So it works wonderfully for me.
Excellent.
Okay, I want to remind everyone that we are going to be back here on Facebook Live tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. And we are going to shift focuses tomorrow and talk more ELA topics. And we hope to see you there. And we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Oh, it looks like we have one chat here from Robert who's saying, thanks. I think the purpose of the test is to assess the student's knowledge, not their value.
Excellent. Yes. Yes.
Thank
not
you,
their value.
Robert. We appreciate your comments and for you to chime in today. And we'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.